Domain. My name's Liesl and I'm going to be joined by Chantel to present some of our beautiful birds to you guys today. Just a couple of things to go through first. As would have been mentioned up the top, this is a free flight bird show. So what that means now that you're down in the arena, you can see we're going to have birds flying around in this area here, but also potentially in and amongst you guys where you're seating. So hence why it's really important that you do stay seated throughout the duration of the show in the seats that you've chosen now. That's so that because if you do have birds flying around, if you do suddenly stand up to take a photo of a bird that direction or something, you could turn around and collide with one from the other direction, and that could obviously injure you, but also our birds. So we just want to keep everyone happy and safe today. All right. So we've got your phones and cameras and stuff. Pictures and videos are absolutely fine. If you'd like to ask us any questions during the show, please feel free, or if you would rather hang behind after the show and ask us, you're welcome to as well. One thing that's going to be an exception to the sit-down rule is going to be we would like this to be a very interactive show. So there will be certainly plenty of opportunities where we will involve you guys and get you an opportunity to hold our birds and get to know them up close and personal. When that happens, Chantel and myself will say, oh, we have a very friendly bird here. Who would like to have a pat of this bird or hold this bird? Guys, there might be some seats along there, I think. The second row back, along there now. So if that's the case and you're interested, you'll put your hand up for us and then we'll select some people to come down. You're going to come down to the front, you're going to grab one of these gloves here. These gloves are all left-handed gloves, so you're going to pop them on your hand, nice elbow here, and hold your hand like that. So it makes a nice perch for the bird, and then we'll talk you through the next steps from there, depending on the bird. If you, for whatever it is, need to put it on your right hand, that's fine. It will just feel a bit funny because it's a left-handed glove, but that's no problem at all. What we do ask though is, it is a fairly big group today, we do ask that you try and share the holds around. Our aim is to try and get everyone who wants to interact with a bird to interact with at least one bird during the show. Once we've achieved that goal, then we'll try and move on to seconds and thirds and those sort of things. So if we could all try and do this is a superb fairy wren who's been auditioning for the show for a while. We're still, maybe have I got anything for you? Would you like one of these? Hey, would you like one of these? Oh, Scarlet Robin just stole it. Nice, that's sharing caring. That's how you do the sharing caring thing, okay? You steal from others. The reason we're wearing these gloves today is because you have come along to Raptor Domain. So what is a raptor? A raptor is a bird of prey with three distinct features. Firstly, they have strong, sharp talons, and that's what they're going to be grabbing their prey with and killing their prey with. Second thing is a hooked and curved beak. Third thing is they've got forward-facing eyes with binocular vision. So they're the three characteristics of raptors. And we potentially will see some other non-raptors today as well. So let's get going. Who wants to meet some birds? Yeah. Who wants to meet some birds? Yeah. All right. My first bird today is actually already out here on display. She is a nocturnal bird of prey. She is hiding out, sleeping in a nice cozy spot. Can anybody see a nice hidey hole for a nocturnal bird? Yeah, a few of you on that side have got it. Yeah. So that's conveniently placed log hollow over there. She's having a sleep in there. She's been having a nice morning sleep in. So I'm going to need a hand to wake her up. Just a mention on that hollow there. Those hollows are habitat to over 300 species of Australian wildlife. So if you are lucky enough to have those hollows in your backyards or in your properties, please do look after them, try and keep a hold of them because they take over 150 years to form. So try and not use them for firewood if you can, and you might end up with some additional family members. So, sorry, now can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's how loud I talk. I didn't even notice I didn't have my microphone on. Did everybody hear everything I've said so far?
Yes.
Yeah? Oh, I don't need this silly microphone then, I'll just get rid of it. No. Sorry about that, guys. Alrighty, so it's off again. Okay, that's a problem. That's not me then. I thought I turned it on to start with. Everything worked out. I thought it would. Carry on as I was. So what we're going to do, her name is Shush. We need to wake her up and I need a hand to do that. So I'm going to count down from 3 and then we're all going to join in together. Thank you very much. We're going to join in together and call out her name with our big morning voices. Everybody happy to join in and give it a go. We want to, our aim is to wake her up. Secondly, to see if we can get her to come and join the show. Okay, it doesn't always work, but we'll give it our best. Everybody ready? Know her name? Shush? Yep, okay. 3, 2, 1. Shush! Now, she's going to take a moment to wake up. Does anybody know what Shush is? Yeah, she's an owl. She's a barn owl, also known as an Eastern or Australian barn owl. So she is. So barn owls are found on every continent in the world. Other than Antarctica. So a very common bird species. This is the beautiful Shush. They're also one of 9 species of owl we have here in Australia, and one of 2 you're going to find here right here. Sorry, on Kangaroo Island. The other owl species we have here is boobook owls, just for your interest. Now Shush is going to come along, and her little partner in crime, Spook, who's about to come out. We're going to come across and meet the people in the front row. Don't worry if you're in the second and third rows, we've got plenty of birds for you as well. What we're going to do is we're going to come along and they're going to hop on your lap. If you would like to have them on your lap, please have your knees next to each other and your hands by your side. When she's on your lap, if you want to give her a little pat with the back of your hand. When we're patting birds today, we always use the back of our hands, so we're not messing our oily fingertips with their feathers, okay? So back of the hand, feel how soft those feathers are. With those people who have shorts on, because it is summer, we will use some to protect some of these gloves just across your laps, and not on your hands, but across your laps. Just because she hasn't had a pedicure lately, so please get ready with your phones for both birds, because they're not going to stay very long on your laps. We've got a lot of laps to get through, so just be ready to take either a selfie or a photo of the next person next to you. And if you could not stand up to do that. So we do want everybody to stay seated and try the best to do. But be ready, because she's only going to be there for a few moments. So, she's already jumping into her work. Here we go. We'll just start up then. Yeah, we'll move our way along. She does get very excited about her laps. So we might just start on Dad's lap, and then, she's going to come down. She gets very excited about her laps. Okay, let her resettle, and then give her a pump. She'll be very quick. Alrighty, so these beautiful birds are part of one of 2 families of owls we have here in Australia. We've got the just put one glob across your lap. Yep, there we go. And if you have the next one, because she's going to jump along really quickly. Try and slow her down, but she gets very excited about doing this. It's her favourite part of the day. So we have the Titonidae family and the Ninox or hawk owl family. Now Titonidae is also known as the masked owl family, and you might notice that she's got this beautiful heart-shaped facial disc. So I'll just hold her up for a second. So that beautiful heart-shaped disc. Now that is actually a specific adaptation to funnel sound. To funnel sound into their ears. So it gives them, she gets a treat at the end of her lap, so sometimes she gets a little bit excited and moves a bit fast through them. You do it properly, give people a chance to feel how soft you are. Here we go, good girl. There we go. Grab those back. Awesome. Hey, come back. Let's keep flat. So it gives them the hearing, some of the best hearing of any raptor in the world. They can actually hear the heartbeat of a mouse from up to 3 meters away. So think about how quiet that sound must be. It's pretty amazing. You're not getting treated if you jump on it. This is just a little bit of red meat. So,
yeah. What else will it eat? Vegetables?
A mouse runs through the bushes from So you can hear them now, roughly in the bushes from 100 metres away, which is also pretty amazing. So these guys are nocturnal predators, so they're hunting primarily in the night time. That means they need to be super quiet when they're out hunting. So these feathers are actually an adaptation to do that. So very soft feathers, very little wind turbulence, means very little noise when they're flying. So they're able to fly up and sneak up on their prey with minimal noise. You might think having this bright white chest and these underneath wings in a nocturnal bird of prey. No, you can't. Good girl. Good girl. Where are we up to? Good girl. It might be a disadvantage for a nocturnal predator in the middle of the darkness of the night and you've got this bright white bird. But what they actually think is that it works to stun their prey, kind of like a, kind of like when, I don't know if anybody, I'm sure some of you have been to the cinemas in the middle of the day. You go in and you're in there in the darkness and then you come out into the daylight and you're like, oh my God, it's so bright out here. It's kind of the same sort of thing. So they think that what happens is they sneak up on their prey, last minute, the prey hears them, looks up, and they just see this flash of, this bright flash of light, and it actually stuns them for that millisecond that it takes for the owl to get them in their talons, and then it's too late for them. So that's actually, they think it's an adaptation to actually help them. You're just super keen on your treats today. There you go, give her a little pat. So what are they hunting out there? Does anybody know what barn owls eat? Mice, yes, that's their favourite. They will eat small lizards and small birds and other bits and pieces, but mice is by far their favourite. Here we go. Give her a little pat there. What are we doing to mice that might affect our barn owls? Anybody know what we might be doing to mice that might affect them? Poison them, yeah. Unfortunately, in our country, we have very easy access to second and third generation rodenticides, which causes a problem called secondary poisoning. So what the problem with those poisons is they take a long time to kill the mice. So the mice ingest them, they're still running around for up to 5 to 7 days with this poison inside of them, getting sicker and sicker, so they're easier to catch for the owls. These guys are eating 2 to 4 mice every night, so it accumulates in their body over time. There we go. Good girl. Oh, do you guys you've done spook, haven't you? Yeah, okay. Good-o. I'll get it back in a second. So it's affecting our owls, but also other predators that we have. So goannas, snakes, other birds of prey. All of these animals are getting affected by this secondary poisoning. There was a study done by BirdLife Australia looking at rodenticide residues in deceased owls around Australia, so deceased from any means, and they found that 92% of birds in Australia had evidence of rodenticides in them, which I think is a very alarming statistic for our country. The reason it's our country, and she's just giving a demonstration of how quiet she is. Anybody hear that? Pretty quiet, isn't it? Let's see if we can do this over this side now that Spooky's gone. So yeah, 92%. And the reason it's a problem in our country is that in countries like UK and Canada, they're banned or they're highly restricted. But here, you can just go into Bunnings or your local IGA and pick them up. You just buy them over the counter without as much as you want, without any instructions on how to use them. So it's a big problem in this country. So what are the alternatives for us to do? You can use live traps or snap traps, work really well. The other option is try and support our native predators. Why not? Why not support? We've got hundreds of it, thousands of barn owls and other species that will happily come and eat your rodents for you. They just need somewhere to live. So back to the log hollows. If you're lucky enough to have a log hollow, then if you want, you're lucky what you treat. We'll give you a treat in a minute. Did anybody notice the lovely nest box tree on the way past the waiting room? Have a look on your way out. There's this beautiful tree. There were lots of different nest boxes. Barn owls are a bird that will take to nest boxes. There was a study on the York Peninsula farmer, and a PhD student from Adelaide. They put out 11 nest boxes over his huge farm on the York Peninsula. By the end of the study period, 10 had barn owls moved in, and they had 35 chicks. And out of those 30, they're all going to grow up and eat 750. Yeah, I know you want your treat. Good girl. They're going to eat 750 plus mice every year. So it's an awesome way to take care of our predators, our rodents, naturally. So have a look at that. There's also a brochure at the front on alternatives to using the really bad rodenticides as well. I think she's done a wonderful job. She's like, I want a treat. Does she earn a treat? Yeah. Her favourite treat is jelly beans. She likes particularly caramello jelly beans. Yeah, jelly beans. It's the best thing for in the morning. You want a jelly bean? Anybody else want a jelly bean? No? So what she's doing at the moment, that is instinct. It is her just checking that her jelly bean is in fact a deceased jelly bean. She doesn't want to eat a live jelly bean, so that's just the way that they know that it's deceased jelly bean, and then she's just going to so down goes breakfast and a little bit of spaghetti for later on. Alrighty guys. Sure, no one else wants a jelly bean? Okay. We've got plenty more to show you today, so please sit tight and we'll be out with your next bird in a moment. Give it up for Shush and Scoot.
Alright, good morning. As Lisa said, my name is Chantel, and my next guest that I have for you is very cool flyer. Her name is Kylie, and Kylie is an Australian hobby falcon, spelled H-O-B-B-Y, and they come from a French word which means to wander around. Now, our hobby falcons are our second smallest falcon species in the country. She weighs in at around 300 grams, so these birds are little pocket rockets. And we're going to do a little bit of flying with Kylie today. This magpie is either very brave or very dumb. Just realise what's going on. I'm going to be doing a little bit of flying with Kylie today to give her a little bit of exercise and just to show you guys just how quick these birds can fly. They're just incredible hunters, our falcons. Now, a lot of you have probably heard of the peregrine falcon, fastest animal on the planet. Peregrine falcons are about double to 3 times the size of the hobby falcon. Up on the list. And they are the fastest animal on the planet, clocking speeds of over 350 kilometres an hour in a dive. So they're incredibly fast. Our hobby falcons are a little slower, around 160 to 170 kilometres an hour. So this is still pretty quick for a 300-gram bird. Now we're going to show you a little bit of that speed, and I'm going to be swinging around this fun little toy here, which she's been waiting for me to swing around. This is a lure. It's going to give you guys a few little haircuts, which is fun. So I'm going to be swinging it around, and she's going to be trying to catch it. Now she knows she's going to get it eventually, she just doesn't quite know when. So she knows she has to do a little bit of work to get her food, and she looks like she's feeling pretty cheeky today. Now, as she flies over your head, you will hear her as she flies through. And as we go through the show this morning, we're going to show you different types of birds of prey that are hunting at different times of the day or night, or hunting different types of prey out. So for the first bird, Shush and Smoke, they're both silent flyers. So they're very stealthy, they're hunting at night time. So they need to be able to sneak up on their prey. The falcons are built completely differently. If you have a look at her wing shape, she's really nice and long and pointed. And that allows these birds to cut through the air like a knife, allows them to go those incredible speeds. So a lot faster than our owls. Very nice. Give her a clap. That was some wicked flying there. Very nice. So she has got her little bird out of the sky. I'm going to let her have that little bit of chicken that's attached to the lure there. She's going to hide it from you guys. She thinks you're looking pretty hungry over this side. Those wings out, that's called a mantle. They try and hide their prey from anybody else that's looking at it. So, yeah, that's very interesting behaviour. She doesn't quite recognise yet, even though she's been doing this for about 14 years, that we're just looking at how cool she is. And we are not interested in raw chicken. So I'll let her have that, and then I'll bring her up on the glove so you can have a closer look. Beautiful bird. And sometimes, flying so quick you don't even get a chance to identify them. But yeah, very cool species found all across Australia. So then the peregrine, brown falcon, 40 species of falcon, everywhere across the country. And you can see even when she folded up how pointed her wingtips are out the back there. So that's just pretty fun. And falcons also have dark colouring underneath their eyes. And the hobby falcons in particular have these cute little brown eyebrows up here. So look out for that. That's a good defining feature of your hobby falcon. Now this girl here, she's a rescue bird. She actually hit a power line when she was younger and learning how to fly. She's got a bit of a dodgy left elbow joint in her wing. And yeah, she had a collision with a power line many years ago. And thankfully, she survived the impact. And some people found her. They did all the right things. They got off to the vet as soon as they could. The vet did a great little bit of surgery on that wing. Unfortunately, it just never healed 100%. I'm sure a lot of you are maybe living with old injuries. You'd be able to empathise with that as well. So you might have noticed towards the end of her flying, she did slow down quite significantly. So I gave it to her as soon as I saw that sort of that behaviour change. So we can spoil her a little bit here. We can give her food when she starts to slow down. Out in the wild, she's not going to be able to keep up. So because of that old injury, she's had to stay with us, but she gets to live a great quality of life. She gets to work for 5 minutes a day and get everything that she needs. So it's pretty easy living. Oh, back are you? The scrappy looking magpie, the molt is starting pretty crazy at the moment, so he does normally look pretty glorious, but he is losing all his feathers, the poor boy. Most of our birds have started pretty well as well. Now, if you came into our car park today and you wonder what those whirlybirds were on our power line, did you see those? Yeah. Those are simply to make that power line more visible to birds flying through the area. We had those installed because we actually had a wild hobby falcon and 2 freckled ducks hit that power line over the space of about a year. So we called up SE Power, we explained the situation, they were very helpful, they came out and they put up those whirlybirds for us, and they do it free of charge in areas where birds are hitting their infrastructure. So if you have a power line in your property or in your local area, give them a call if it's injuring or killing birds, because they are keen to help out. All we needed to do was make a simple phone call, so it does make a big difference. Since we've had those installed, we haven't had any birds hit that bit of power line since, so it does tend to make a big difference. It just makes it so much more visible as birds are flying through the area. Alright, well she's done an awesome job, the Australian hobby falcon. There you go, I'm going to take her back inside. At least we've got some more pretty cute birds for you up next.
Alright everyone, now I've got a cute little 2 and 1. So on my arm here, please welcome the beautiful Wally and his daughter Muppet. So these guys are tawny frogmouths. We'll get back to talking about them in a moment. Down here next to me is the beautiful Donald. Now Donald here is actually a girl. So sometimes or quite often we name our birds before we know what sex they are. So Donald was named Donald, then we found out she was a girl, but it suits her and it's stuck. So now Donald here is a bush stone curlew, also known as a bush thick-knee. So these guys, anybody familiar with this species down here? Has anybody seen that bird before? Yeah? So they used to be prolific around the whole of Australia before European settlement, but unfortunately since European settlement their distribution has reduced by about 90%. And that's primarily due to predation by introduced predators, so particularly foxes and feral cats. So they're now found predominantly up in Queensland. You can still find them reasonably commonly up in Queensland. And we're very lucky here to have a very healthy population on Kangaroo Island, and that's in part due to the fact we have no foxes here, so we're very lucky about that. But you'd be hard pressed to find them in the South Australian mainland. They're very few and far between now. And she's a beautiful ground-dwelling bird. What these birds have in common, there's a few things they have in common. Firstly, these guys are what we call predatory birds. So they're still birds of prey, but they take their prey with their beaks. So very different to our raptors. And you might, a lot of people get confused with our tawny frogmouths and they think that they are actually owls. But they're actually quite different to owls genetically. They do share a similar ecological niche in that they're nocturnal birds and they do eat sort of similar overlapping food with our owls, but that's about as much as they have in common. So these guys, you can see that they're actually sitting on my hand here. I don't have a glove on or anything like that. They're sitting there and they are very happily sitting there without any strength in those talons. So they're actually catching their prey with these big beaks. So if anybody hasn't seen a tawny frogmouth before, they've got this big wide beak, hence the frogmouth name. So a couple of last differences between the owls. So they're eating their prey with their beak, and they've got eyes set on the side of their head. We're going to talk a little bit more about both of these birds in a minute, but both Muppet and beautiful Wally here are going to do some holds. So I'd like to invite people who are in the second and third rows who have not held a bird yet. In particular, kids, because we do have some adult-only birds coming up shortly, who would like to come down. Come down. So we're going to move through these pretty quickly. Yep, there's and on this side, green top and the white t-shirt. Come down, pop a glove on, grab the gloves, come out, and I'm just going to pop. Keep Little down here for a bit longer. She'll probably head off before we finish. All right, guys. So, tawny frogmouths found all across Australia. Very widespread bird. You might be seen them, even have them in your backyards. Anybody have some tawny frogmouths around? Yeah. So they're pretty common. 1 to 3 species of frogmouths in Australia. You want to turn around and face Mum and Dad, and then if you want to pat them, you're patting them down the back with the back of your hand. Just avoid that beak area because otherwise you're going to lose your finger. Yeah. Probably not, but just avoid that mouth region anyway. And then we're going to, you guys want to come out here and I'll bring them over to you in a second. So, good job. Yeah.
They're so cute.
They are very cute. Did you get a photo?
Yeah.
Yeah? Ah, good job. Alrighty, we'll move them along, so try and get a few little holds done with these guys once they're out here. Good job. Alrighty. So these guys are eating a whole heap of different insects, like small lizards, reptiles, amphibians. They'll eat small little birds as well. Donald Hill even eats some vegetation as well. So they do have quite a bit in common. She's, like I said, a ground-dwelling bird. She can fly, but she's got a wingspan of up to 1 metre wide. But they tend to stay predominantly on the ground, and they nest on the ground as well. A couple more volunteers from each side for Wally and Muppet. Up the back there, the young man, maybe another kid, if there's another kid, because like I said, we've got some adult birds. You already have come out. Anybody or an adult? Just back 2 rows at the moment. Yep, come on down. Another kid in there, another adult. Yeah, come on down. And this side, a couple of volunteers, the young man and the young man in the green top. Come on down, grab a glove. Grab the gloves there, boys. Here we go. So another thing these guys have in common is their ability to camouflage. Grab these gloves. Grab these gloves. I'll just pass the birds over here. Here we go. So you've got Muppet there. Here you go. Don.
Curtis Reese. Oh, you haven't got one yet. Sorry.
All right. There you go, mate. Yep, left hand. And let's see, give the pat. Turn around. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Don. So these guys have in common is camouflage. So right now they're all these birds are super relaxed. You can see the tawny frogmouths are sitting there. You know, they're pretty happy, pretty chilled. They're not feeling very threatened. If these guys do feel threatened by a predator, they're both going to go pretty much rigid and upright. You can imagine her if something comes along. What she's going to do, if she's sitting in a seated position, she'll just freeze. But if she's upright, she'll go like straight up in the air with her head up and blend into the grasses behind her. And so she becomes almost invisible to anything coming past that's trying to see her, which is what predominantly our native predators are going to be doing. They're going to be using their eyesight. Now, the tawnies will do a similar sort of thing. So the tawny frogmouths are going to be not like this, like right now, like I said, they're nice and relaxed. What they're going to be doing is sucking their bellies in, going upright, and they're going to be on a branch. So kind of like that log over there, or up in the tree there. Those beautiful colours blend into the back of the tree. So they actually become like mimicry of the tree. They'll have their eyes slit shut, their beaks shut, their tail flat across the back. So they actually turn into what looks like a snap branch. And they'll often have 2 of them. Has anybody seen that before in the wild? Yeah, like a snap branch. It's amazing. So they're very hard to see in the wild when they do that. Again, works great for our native predators, but not so good for against our introduced predators. So our native predators use eyesight, so camouflage is great. Introduced predators, foxes, feral cats, everything else, they use their sense of smell, so scent to hunt their prey. So these guys are sitting ducks. Donald there, who's taken himself back off home, they're predominantly on the ground or close to the ground. Unfortunately, we lose so much of our wildlife to cats, to feral cats. There's a study done that showed that on average, domestic cats in Australia take between 30 and 100 pieces of wildlife every year. Times that by 5 million domestic cats, it's a lot of wildlife going to our domestic cats. So what can we do to help? There's a lot of big scale programs around Australia. If you do get a chance to be involved in them, that's great. We've even got a great program here on the island that's working wonderfully well to reduce our feral cat population. But that's hard on a day-to-day basis. What can you do at home? Look after your own domestic pets. So keep them locked in, particularly overnight with domestic cats, or during the day in a nice big outdoor enclosure that's safe and secure. Get them microchipped to sex so they're not roaming. It's a good thing to not only look after our wildlife, but it looks after your animals. We're actually stopping them from getting hit by cars, secondary poisons as well. We reduce the chances of them getting bitten by snakes, all those things. So it's a win-win situation. So reducing the harm to our wildlife, and at the same time we are protecting our own beautiful animals and keeping them safe, and hopefully reducing our vet bills as well. So please give it up for Wally, Muppet and the beautiful Donald. They're those fabulous dogs guys. Yeah. Now, the next bird that we've got coming up for you is going to be coming from behind that log hollow. This beautiful bird, he's a stunning bird. He's going to be flying out, so have your cameras all ready. I do ask, it is very important that everyone does stay seated for this. This is not a holdy bird. This is a bird that's going to fly out here and put on a beautiful show for you guys, but particularly the kiddies, we make sure that they stay in their seats for this bird, please. And I'm sure you'll really enjoy meeting him.
What is that? It's a white-headed eagle. White-headed eagle.
Alright, I've got a beautiful big person up next. This is Marikai. Marikai is a white-bellied sea eagle. White-bellied sea eagles are our second largest raptor species in the country, just behind the wedge-tailed eagle, which we'll meet a little bit later on. They're found all around the coastlines of Australia, up to around 300 or so kilometres inland on the eastern coast into inland rivers and streams. Also found over the Southeast Asia, including India as well. So, yeah, not just limited to the Australian coastlands. You're going to bring him up nice and close. It's a beautiful big bird. Pretty impressive. He is a male, so he's smaller than the females. It's generally the case with most of your raptors. It's usually the females that are the bigger, stronger ones. So, as a boy, he's about 2.5 kilos, with a wingspan of around the 2 metre mark. The females will get up to the 4 kilo mark. So they can get a bit bigger. And Marikai here, boy. And their diet will vary. They'll take any sort of prey from the sea, rivers, or from the land or out in the air. They will go after lots of fish, as you can imagine from a sea eagle. They have very grippy undersides of their feet, kind of feels like the spiked part of Velcro under there, so that helps them to get good grip on their very slippery prey items. So they take a lot of fish. They're capable of taking sea snakes. You have a look at this scaling on his feet. Touch your feet. Have a look at the scaling on his feet. He's got really good protection from a potential bite from a highly venomous sea snake. They'll also take things like rabbits on the land. They've been reported taking piglets up in the Northern Territory. They take some fruit bats out of the air. They'll take all sorts of water birds. Anything up in the size of a swan has been reported in the diet of the sea eagle. I wouldn't want to take on a swan, but now, they are an endangered species in South Australia. They vary quite significantly in terms of their status state to state. So if you go up to Queensland, New South Wales, the Northern Territory, you'll actually see it in quite common. But you come down here to South Australia, it's pretty rare to see eagle down here. And the main difference is our coastline. If you look at the South Australian coastline, it's quite unique. There's a lot of beautiful cliffs, which means that there's not as many higher nesting opportunities for our sea eagles. And that means when humans come along, they're either at the same level or above them, and the sea eagles are really shy when it comes to their nesting sites. So if the humans come too close, they're a bit scary if you're not above them. So sometimes they'll abandon their chicks and their eggs at certain sensitive periods of the year. So during their breeding season, there's a lot of protections in place for South Australian sea eagles, and basically they're just signs that kind of ask you not to go any further in terms of little coastal walks, and there's some no-fly zones over in Victor Harbour as well during their breeding season. So all these things are just in place to make sure that every sea eagle that we have here in South Australia has the best opportunity to make more sea eagles. We don't want to be accidentally upsetting them so that they abandon their nesting sites, because everyone is important. To give you an idea, the whole of the state in South Australia, there's about 80 or so breeding pairs in the whole state. Here in Kangaroo Island, we've got about 26% of those. So we actually do quite well for sea eagles. But you have a look at our coastline around here, and a lot of it is inaccessible to humans. So that means that it's only really accessible by boat. And that doesn't really upset the sea eagles because they've got a big above you if you're in your boat. So you don't have to worry there. But if you see those signs on those coastal walks, it is really important to not go any further. You don't have to worry at the moment because their breeding season is over for this last season. It finishes at the end of December, so you're pretty good. You don't have to worry too much about it at the moment. Now this way here, here's another rescue. He was probably the saddest story of any of our birds. He was being illegally kept as a pet. Some people had him in a parrot cage for 4 years. That wasn't very good hunting. Very majestic. Some people had him in a parrot cage. They were keeping him in horrible conditions. He couldn't even spread out his wings. They didn't even give him a perch to sit on. And it took a lot of work to get him out here flying. We got him about 15 years ago. So he's been living the good life ever since, but it took ages to get him to fly, to teach him how to fly, to give him the confidence to do so, and he has some trust issues as well. So this is the sweetest bird when you get to know him, but he does like to try and kill you for about 8 months before you get to that point. So it is worthwhile. He's a very cool bird, but it does take a long time to get to know him. But goodness, he's an incredible bird once you do earn his trust. And now you definitely don't get kisses on the head, hey? We'll let everybody know that you're very tough and majestic. Now, if you are ever concerned about the welfare of an animal, whether it's a dog, a cat, somebody's keeping something like this, and you think that's a little bit dodgy, or a lot dodgy, it is worth giving a call to the authorities. They can be Parks and Wildlife Service, RSPCA. There's lots of people that are able to help you out. They're able to investigate that. You can remain anonymous as well. I think that's what the people did that reported Maracay. That person made a huge difference to his life, and now he's got a nice big aviary, a lovely big pond, and he gets to come out here and impress you guys every day. There you go, white-bellied sea eagle, very cool bird. Keep your eyes out for them. I'm going to take him back inside, and Lisa will be out shortly with something else cool for you. Thank you.
Alright everyone, now I'd like to introduce you to the beautiful Omen. Omen is a lesser sooty owl. So that is one of two subspecies of sooty owls we have in Australia. We have the lesser and the greater sooty owl. Some of the differences being quite obviously size. So the lesser sooty owl is a bit smaller. She has lighter plumage, and she also is restricted to a much smaller area in Australia. So she's a bird of the tropical rainforests and is found pretty much up in the Cairns area. So that's pretty much all the spots in Australia you're going to find her is in that very localised area. The greater sooty owl you're going to find from mid Queensland coast down to in and around Melbourne and Victoria. So much larger distribution. And you might notice her sitting up here, that very kind of hunched over appearance, looking like your mean old auntie peering down on you. That is actually their normal posture all the time for lesser sooty owls, because they are up in the canopies of the rainforest. So that's where they sit, looking for their prey. So that is actually their natural position to look like that. Now, beautiful Omen here is going to do some holds as well. She's going to do adult holds, so or teenager to adult, not the little ones. So a couple of volunteers on this side. Yep, I see you're very keen already. Another person on this side, so teenagers or adults on this side. Yep, you can. So again, that's right. If somebody hasn't had an interaction with the bird yet and wants to, yes. Is there anybody else who has not interacted would like to? There's a gentleman there. Come down, pop a glove on. So grab the gloves, pop them on, and just come and stand in front of your favourite photographer. And she's actually going to do a short flight to your glove. Ooh. Now with this bird, please, no patting of this bird. This bird is just to have on your glove. So come and stand around here. Face your photographer there. Yeah, no, come here. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, there we go. And she's going to fly across to your glove. And she wakes up a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. And so she's just have a photo there. And so, yeah, you can just face her around. She's probably got to turn around. Look there. There we go. Good girl. So she is part of that family of ours called the Titunde family as well. So she's got that beautiful heart-shaped facial disc. So again, excellent hearing. Some of the things you might notice different to her with her though is that she has these big talons, bigger than the barn owl. She can take on prey bigger than the barn owl. Parrots up to like a king parrot bird size, so that's pretty big birds. She's also going to be taking on, up in the rainforest canopy, she'll be taking on things like sugar gliders and squirrel gliders and possums and those sort of things, so a bigger bird. She's also got those bigger eyes, so proportionally much bigger eyes, so that allows her to see in the darkness of the rainforest. So you know how dark rainforests are. She needs to have really good vision, so come and stand here, turn around. Face that way, perfect. Here we go. And do a little slide over. There we go, perfect. Okay. And then on the ground, she's going to be taking a lot of different, just small mammals, basically. So rats and rodents as well, bandicoots, potoroos, all those types of things. She also takes small lizards and reptiles, and just any sort of ground-dwelling animals as well. But not a lot of aerodynamic flight. She's got that very short tail like the barn owl, so they're just using the tail for balance down, grab some food back to the safety of the canopy. A couple of things you might notice with her is her beautiful coloration. So she has this beautiful speckled back, which is again designed for camouflage. So if you're flying, animals who are trying to hunt for her, so things like wedge-tailed eagles, are going to fly over, they'll look down, and she's just going to blend into the top of the canopy, just like that. Perfect, there you go. She's like, yeah, I'll come over. And I'll get you to come out and be ready here. Perfect. And then from below, if you were a prey item on the ground looking up, you can see that beautiful pattern underneath her. She's all ready to look up, to blend into the bits of skylight coming through the top of the canopy. So it's a beautiful camouflage system. So the only way you're going to find her, if you're out in the rainforest trying to find her, it's going to be really hard to see her if you're out there, even if you're a very, very, very good bird watcher. But you might hear her. She makes a very distinctive, perfect. She makes a very distinctive noise, kind of like a whistling bomb drop. Does anyone know how to do that sound? Got some good ones in there. Yeah, so you hear that sound in the rainforest? That's the sound you're going to be looking at, hearing for what our lesser sooty owls make. What can we do to help our lesser sooty owls? These owls are a bird of old growth rainforests. Okay, so they need those log hollows. That's not good enough for her. She needs a log hollow bigger than that and like a metre deep. They take 200 plus years to build. So we need to protect her habitat. So how can we do that? We can stop cutting down so many trees. Every day around the world, every day we cut down 27,000 trees costing toilet paper, which is just kind of crazy in this day and age. So I don't know if anybody's tried recycled toilet paper. It used to be a bit crappy, but it's now so much better than what it used to be. We've got our a brand here that we use called Who Gives a Crap, but there's plenty of other brands and a bit of competition. They make them much better. So has anybody tried them here? Anybody used our glues yet? No. On the way out, try before you buy. Go and check out the Who Gives a Crap brand in our dunnies. Go use it. Try before you buy, and see if you can move on to using some more recycled products, because it is a great way to look after our habitat. And that's not just toilet paper, but other recycled paper products too. let's see if we can try and reduce the amount of beautiful, particularly the old growth habitat that's getting destroyed still on a crazy level. Oh, that's so beautiful job. Please give it up for her. We'll be out with the next girl.
Beautiful birds to show you this afternoon now. We have a couple of red-tailed black cockatoos. So that's Manny, who's doing the laps, nice flying, and this is Kira, who's the queen of destruction. They're both red-tailed black cockatoos. They get their name from the adult males. So adult males are fully black with a bright red bar on their tail, and the females and the juvenile males look like these two. So we are looking at red-tailed black cockatoos here, even though they have yellowy tails. We're just looking at females. So the females have all the lovely little yellow spots right to the tail. Tail varies from a deep orange to a light yellow. While he's around, I'll talk about this guy up here. That's Acacia. Very handsome. Acacia is a Carnaby's black cockatoo, found only around the Perth region in Western Australia, so only in that little southwest pocket of the country. They're an endangered species over there, alongside the southeastern subspecies of the red-tail. And they they're a beautiful bird that looks very similar to the yellow-tailed black cockatoo that we have over here on Kangaroo Island and down the eastern coast that a lot of you guys might be familiar with. I think I've lost him today, gone for a bit of an adventure. Thank you, Big Blue Party Chicken. Oh my goodness, what have you done? Like, oh my tail is too long. That's Chook. Are you going to come down? We've been practicing this. Chook is a blue and gold macaw, blue and yellow macaw. Very creative name. The species found in Central and South America. He's our only exotic species that we have here at Raptor Domain. He's a bit of a weird at some point. We're going to do some holds with our parrots now. As you've been doing a great job of throughout the show, we do want to share it around. So we want the last of you that haven't had a bird on your lap or on your arm yet to come up and have a go with one of our parrots. In saying that though, we do reward them with almonds and sometimes we give them peanut butter. So if any of you or the little ones that are travelling with you have a severe contact nut allergy, probably don't hold our parrots because they are flying screaming traces of nut, alright? For that reason we'll be using these black arm sleeves. So they can go on either arm. They do have, this one comes with a free meal there, yum. They do have a little hole in them. Just going like that, so with your hand. Unless you've got leather arms like us, they can be pretty scratchy. So if you're in the audio and you haven't had a bird on your arm, you can go with the parrot. There's no padding in here for us. They don't have buzzers. You can come on out. We do need adults only to do buzzers right in the middle there. You can come on up as well. We've got all the kids with our small birds. And no padding is the last rule. There are many rules.
And who's next? With you and
Jaden, lift your hands higher.
Clearly not raptors, so we're staying away from our raptors.
So anybody who's not had a hold of a bird at all.
They can range to be a little cockatiel.
So we'll give you two next then. So come on.
Anybody else has not had a bird on their lap or on their arm? So a cockatiel is a type of cockatoo as well. And we've got one cockatoo which are the biggest. And lots in between.
Go ahead, grab the glove.
I did mention we have, thank you. Anybody else in the middle of the back?
Mira la foto.
Ask Mama if she wants to hold it.
So we have got yellow
They are you go. I'll go. I think.
and the island.
I'll come with you.
Cockatoos are endangered. There's been a lot of work that's been going on the island for around 30 years now. And basically that's involved planting more shea. Putting up lights on this,
Get a picture of
quite successful. Is there anybody else left on my side that hasn't had a bird on their arm or on their lap yet? Yes, did you have a go with something earlier? Yeah, cool. We'll just get No, if I give one kid 2 goes,
Chatty.
so we appreciate sharing it around. Well, one whole each. Much easier. So planting that native trees, she oats for their food, artificial nest objects, and protecting as well has been really successful. See the numbers increase to around 150 birds. Really good.
Can I have my card back?
So the numbers increased quite well. You can come over with me if you like.
My hand is
You can come over with me. Come over with me.
My hand is dropping.
You don't want to hold it.
You go next time.
I know. എടുത്തോ
So
My hand is
it's
dropping.
been successful and all possible because of volunteers as well. So, if you ever had the opportunity to volunteer your time, that's a fantastic way to help out some beautiful species in your local area or your local community if that's more your thing. Alright, has everybody had a go with either a bird on their lap or a bird on their arm at some point in the show today? Awesome. We appreciate you guys sharing it around being honest as well. It makes everybody be able to have a fantastic time. So you've been in an awesome audience. She does like to take the last person's shoes. If you are ever considering one of these as a pet, we don't recommend it. All of these black cockatoos will live to 80 years. The macaw will live up to 100. That entire time they have the personality of the world's most destructive and very noisy toddler for 80 years. So if you love the toddler stage of your kids, then all power to you if you want to do that for 80 years. Otherwise, yes, they are a lot of hard work, they require a lot of enrichment, lots of things to chew, lots of things to destroy, and lots of love and lots of social interactions too. They're social species, so you can't just leave them at home and go to work for 10 hours a day because they'll miss you that entire day. Alright, these guys have done a great job, minus the macaw who's done nothing, but we'll take it, 75% good birds. I'll take them back inside. Lisa's got one more for you. Thanks guys.
They left the parrot behind.
Amma should have commented.
Is she doing owl holding?
No.
Why not?
Mama's not doing.
Oh, I thought you were saying I'm not doing the owl holding. Oh, Mama doing the owl holding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better on the left hand.
Yeah.
Like with the skin. One of its
You didn't get it. You edit me out of that for a moment.
Oh, that's nice, Annie.
Say Anna? Did you take a picture of me? Did you take a picture of me?
Yeah.
This is what.
Yeah.
Alright everyone. Can't exactly have a show about raptors without featuring Australia's largest raptor. Please welcome the beautiful Jeddah. Jeddah is a wedge-tailed eagle. I'm getting a photo there. Good job. She's pretty cute, isn't she? So, oh there we go, she's even showing her wings already. There we go. So wedge-tailed eagles are found all across Australia. So very widespread species, able to adapt to a lot of different habitats. We even have a very healthy population of them right here on Kangaroo Island. So if you're driving around the island, please keep an eye out. If you're out and about, look up and you're bound to see some flying up in the sky. So what are some of our beautiful features of these birds? Well, one, which you just showed you, was that beautiful wingspan. So they've got a wingspan of up to about 2.3 to 2.4 metres, which is pretty impressive. They also have this gorgeous wedge-shaped or diamond-shaped tail that's quite distinctive if you actually see them flying up in the air. Has everybody seen Has anybody not seen that? It's pretty impressive when you see them up in the air flying, that beautiful wedge-shaped tail. They've also got these beautiful stockings of feathers right down to their talons there, which is pretty. And they have amazing eyes. So their little eyeballs, they're about the same size as small children's, small human eyes. So a lot of you guys here have the same size eyes as her, but she's got them in that little tiny head. So her eyesight's actually, she's got 3 times the visual acuity of human beings. What that means is when she's soaring up in the sky there, when she's soaring around up there, she can see some of her prey from up to a kilometre away, which is pretty amazing eyesight. Speaking of soaring, how high do they soar up there in the sky? Regularly up over 1,000 to 2,000 metres on the thermal currents, but paragliders and hang gliders have actually come across them up to 3 kilometres, 3,000 metres straight up in the sky, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. And what are they? Might spread over again. What are they hunting for? Primarily small mammals. So on the mainland, they're hunting a lot of rabbits. In particular, here on the island, they probably we don't have the rabbits, so they do eat a lot of brush-tailed possums. That's a bit of a favourite here, a bit of a fave. Yeah, here we go. Good girl, Jetta. So lots of small to medium mammals. They also eat birds like ravens and glass, that sort of size bird, and a lot of reptiles as well. They're also well known though for being able to take on a full-size adult kangaroo. And one of the ways they can do that is because of those huge talons you can see there. So they've got that in their favour, and this beak here. So this beak actually has a closing pressure of 700 pounds per square inch. To put that in perspective for you, that's the equivalent of an adult German Shepherd bite. So you think about the size of a German Shepherd skull and how much muscle they've got, and a bite is pretty powerful. That's the same power in that little beak. So yeah, and if you think about it too, they're coming at them from up to, they're about on average 4 to 5 kilos or so. They're coming at them from over 100 kilometres an hour with those talons and that beak. You can see why they can take down full-size adult male kangaroos. Having said that, they're more likely to do that in tandem with another wedge-tailed eagle, form a loose alliance and hunting pairs or even small groups. But they're more likely, if they're just out and about on their own, they're going to just take on something a lot lighter and easier to pick up and carry. What else are they eating? They're eating a lot of carrion. What's called carrion is basically deceased animals from whatever means. They actually play a very important role in the ecosystem as scavengers. So they're scavenging that deceased animals and regenerating, passing that through the food chain, which is a really good, really important role for our ecosystem. Unfortunately, here in Australia, that does put them in a difficult situation because a lot of our carrion is roadkill. And we do have a lot of it. I mean, you can't drive around the island and not see roadkill. You can't drive around Australia and not see roadkill. So what can we do to help? Because what happens is these guys are down there eating it. This is a big unit to get up and going. Like they can fly amazing, but it takes some effort to get going and time. So if you do see roadkill on the road, try and slow down. Be aware that there might be scavengers around these guys, or goannas, or there's all sorts of scavengers out there. Be aware, slow down. If you see a wedge-tailed eagle, give it a chance to fly off, or if not, drive around. The other thing we can try and do is if you are unfortunate enough to hit one of our Australian animals, whether it be a kangaroo or a wallaby or a koala, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's safe to do so, if you can pull aside across and go back and try and pull it off the road, it gives you the opportunity to also check its pouch, because so many of our Australian animals have joeys in their pouches that survive the impact of a crash, of a car hitting them. So whilst mum might be deceased, there might be a life there you can save. So check the pouch. If there is a joey, call your local wildlife clinic or vet or even places like here, and we'll come and help. But only if safe to do so. We don't want any other casualties out there. But if you can pull those animals off the road, then these guys can eat safely. So beautiful Jetta, here is our last bird of the show today. On behalf of Shan and I, thank you so much for coming down and spending the morning with us. We really do appreciate your support and coming to meet our beautiful birds. We do hope you've really enjoyed it, and that you've also maybe taken home a few ideas about what we can do to look after our beautiful flora and fauna, yeah, keep our wildlife safe both here and in your own countries, wherever you might have travelled from today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.